Hello, everyone. Welcome. And today we're going to be talking about the ninth step to greatness. Camilla and I are going to talk to you about exchanges and the value of exchange. And wow, that is one subject or one area that seems to create a lot of emotions, negative and positive, from what I've seen with people. Camilla, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, thank you very much, Till. I'm very excited to be talking about this topic today. And I just want to mention that if you want to get like the worksheet that comes with this topic, you just can write down in the comments exchange. So thank you, Till.
Thank you. So instead of giving you a definition that sounds real techie about exchange, I'm going to just give you an example of how this works in life. But first of all, exchange basically sets you up and determines the kind of position that you can have in life. And it increases and enhances, hopefully, your relationships that you have in life, because exchanges is all around values. It doesn't have to, an exchange does not have to have be connected just to money. So let me explain. So in 2004, when I first started working with Alan as his executive communicator, you know, I desperately wanted this knowledge. And I really wanted to work with someone who took the knowledge, applied it in everyday life, in every situation, so I could see how does it work. And so I could use the knowledge optimally, not just in a consulting session, if you will. So basically what he wanted was he wanted someone to, you know, handle his bank accounts, run his household. If I needed to prepare, which I did, lunch and dinner, that, and just basically take care of everything, as well as be in the marketing area. Because what he wanted was he was in the middle of the research for this technology for finishing it up. And he did not have the time, the attention, the life force particles to handle all those things. And he also wanted someone who was very interested in learning the technology, learning how to coach, and studying and training and having various skills. So that was me. But I always felt out of exchange with him because I was getting like 1,000% of what I wanted. I was learning the knowledge, I was getting to apprentice under him, and I was getting to work in the area that I love to work in. And then there was many things in his home that I could run quite easily that didn't seem like, gosh, it felt like the exchange was out. And he knew that. He knew I felt that way. So it took him some time to coach me and help me realize that what I was giving to him, he valued a lot, because that made it possible for him to write, type, research, and finish the technology, which he did in 2008. And in return, I got exactly what I wanted. And so that's a great example of exchanging something of value. He felt like it was a very equal exchange. And probably after a couple of years, I finally was able to accept it fully, because if I hadn't been in that position, that would have been really tough for him to could have continued and gotten that technology and completed it in 2008. So exchange, it's really based, it has a lot to do with what do you want, what is important to you, what is valuable to you, and what is that worth to you. And it doesn't matter if the person that is exchanging that with you finds it very easy to do and they're a master at some of those areas, it still doesn't mean it's not worth something. Because if you don't want your time and attention put on that and to have to handle that, that's very valuable. So Camilo, do you have any thoughts around this subject?
Yes, thank you, Seal. yeah, what's coming to you connected to Exchange. So it's a personal experience that I have. I used to work as a freelancer. My background is engineering, so I used to create websites for clients. And I remember when I started, I wasn't charging that much as a freelancer because maybe I need more experience. I'm just
Mhm.
learning this, so I used to charge very little. But what happened is that as I started charging and getting more experience, I didn't raise my prices.
Mm.
So as I was moving through that, I started noticing that I wasn't really liking my job, like because no, it's a lot of work, and maybe I'm not really asking for enough money, and yeah, and I noticed that for some months, and it was happening over and over. So I was trying to find a solution to it, and so I raised my prices, and I said
Mm.
like something like, okay, I'm going to raise them like something that it was out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And when I did that, the first thing that happened is that I wanted to have more projects. I wanted to have more clients. I really started enjoying again, like the work that I was doing with clients and creating the websites and all the little pieces that came with the job. So what I noticed that, and at the moment I wasn't trained, so I didn't know about the exchange or anything. But when I learned about exchange, I realized, okay, that's an indicator of not being in exchange with others. Yeah, and what I noticed is that I really wasn't appreciating all my experience, all the knowledge that I had in that area. So, yeah, that's something that comes to you when you are not feeling that maybe when you are not feeling good with what you are doing, maybe it's because this change is out of place. So, and that became so clear for me. So now whenever I'm like charging for something, I take some time to really price it in the right way, because it's like, if not, then when you have to deliver that, it's like, okay, maybe I don't want to do it. And so when you start noticing that resistance or not doing something that you normally enjoy, it's connected to exchange. So it's so great that you mentioned this story from Alan, because yeah, it can happen also like by not appreciating your own knowledge and skills and abilities, and not putting the right price that other people is willing to pay for them.
Oh, that's such a great example. And that's such a red flag, in your stories. Like you said, when you start noticing that, like you're not wanting to do it anymore, and it is something that you loved at one time and you don't know why. I've seen that. Oh my goodness, I've seen it with parents, and I watch it, and I know they struggle with trying to teach their kids how to exchange, not to just give, give, right? And a lot of times I see parents wanting to do things differently than what their parents did for them, especially if they came out of an environment where there wasn't a lot of money, you know what I mean? And maybe the parents have had a lot of success. And so parents can a lot of times tend to overgive or go along with what's happening in the culture these days. And um, or what's happened in the social circles that they're living in. And then I see trouble happening in those relationships is lack of appreciation, lack of gratitude. And if you continue, you know what I mean? It's like if you let that continue to evolve, it kind of goes back to what in your story, you start not wanting to do it anymore. So, it's like you let the exchange go out with another person, then it gets pretty emotional, like very high emotionals and upsets. A lot of times you don't even know what you're upset about. So it reminds me of one of the things that I always try to put in with my grandchildren. It's a form of exchange. It's like I teach them to work with me. If I'm going to spend time with them or we're going to get in the car and go somewhere, one of the things that I put in, and it is a form of exchange, it's like I'm paying to take them somewhere to go have a great time because I want to spend time with them. But always ask them, will you work with me? And then I kind of explain the things that I want and then the things I don't want. And then I wrap that all up and say, so that's working with. And If you can't do that, then we'll need to, go back home or go home. We won't go. And so that, I mean, that is an exchange, right? I mean, obviously, if we go out somewhere, I'm wanting to have a great time with them. And so in exchange, the way that works is we work together. So that's in a form of exchange. And appreciation and gratitude has a lot to do with that subject. So with that, Camilo, is there one final last word you would like to say on this subject?
Yes, like so important to have appreciation for what you get, but also for what you give. I think that's key, because the levels of appreciation will also allow you to exchange with more ease. It's like it becomes something that flows from both sides. So yes, like what we are trying to get is it's that flow.
Thank you so much. And for you guys, this will be the last call before we start in 2023. So we hope 2022 was a great year for you. And I hope that these calls enhanced your life in some way. And we will see you in 2023. Thank you so